Hello everyone, Dr. Nash Jocic here, bodybuilding champion, author of 9 books, and somebody who has been involved in bodybuilding industry for over 40 years. So during this time I have trained, advised, supervised over 3,000 clients, and I helped them get bigger, leaner, better, compete, win shows, and I also hope that my advice can help you get in the best shape possible. So today we are going to talk about shoulders workout. So in this video, the ultimate shoulders workout, I will show you the training system that I have used in many of my clients to achieve maximum shoulder development. You need to understand that shoulder development and shoulder width are primarily genetical predisposition. So basically, if you have a wide collarbone, your shoulders will be wider, and if you have narrower, shorter, you will be narrower in your shoulders. But however, there are systems, training systems that I have used, and a selection of exercises that I have successfully applied, and I want to show you today what that is. So I would start with the most important exercise for shoulders that I consider, which is lateral raises. Now, lateral raises are exercise that actually target the lateral deltoid, which is the most important for your shoulder width. This is why I always start, and I advise all my clients to start with this exercise, because this is the muscle that will never be big enough. So lateral delts will never be big enough. So you have to pay attention to that, because depending on the lateral development of your lateral deltoids, it will depend the width of your shoulders, regardless of your genetics. So either you have a long collarbone or shorter, it doesn't matter. Still, lateral deltoid is the key for shoulder width. Now you can see on this video that the most important thing that you should pay attention to, and I always pay attention to, is actually to move the elbows up, to focus on moving the elbows, the humerus up, because this is what lateral deltoid is doing, is moving the humerus up, not necessarily the dumbbells up. So you can see people often doing this with the dumbbells up, but unfortunately that is twisting the shoulder, and moving dumbbells that way will actually activate more your front deltoids. You don't want to activate front deltoids doing this exercise. You want to activate lateral deltoids. So the only way to do it is, again, you can see, is to move your elbows up as high as possible, reaching that parallel position, parallel level with the floor. You don't have to go higher than that, because that will cause twisting of the shoulder again. So I would perform this exercise in 4 sets, anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. The most important thing doing lateral raises, again, is the form. So move your elbows up, not the dumbbells. Now, the second exercise that I advise people to do, and I have been doing always, is shoulder press. Shoulder press can be done with different variation of exercises. You can see on this picture, this is a dumbbell shoulder press, seated dumbbell press. You can do shoulder press with barbells. You can do different machines. As you can see, shoulder press machine, which I like to actually face the opposite way in order to stimulate more the front shoulder. And also you can use Smith machine, as you can see here. So one thing that you should bear in mind, and is critical, and I always advise people to do that and not to forget, is that you always perform shoulder press with the bar in front of your neck, and never do press behind the neck. Oh, you may say, but there are people, Arnold did it behind the neck, this guy did it. They may have done it, and you may do as well. You may not have problems with that for some time, but eventually you will be having a problem, because that positioning behind the neck is actually twisting your shoulder and causing an unnecessary pressure on bursa simply because of the anatomy of shoulder and something which is called acromion bone, which does not allow you to be in that position moving the humerus all the way up. You can do it, but eventually you're gonna have bursitis or inflammation of bursa, because this is the cushion which sits between the humerus and acromion bone. So in that position you're going to be pressurizing, and never do. My advice to you, if you want to have healthy shoulders and perform and be obviously in the game for a long time to come without any shoulder problems, do in front of the neck. By doing that way, you will even focus more on your front shoulders, because if you turn the bar behind, you will be getting involved laterals, maybe a bit of rear shoulders. But this is an exercise, as you can see on this video, which actually targets your front shoulders. So why would you bother about lateral deltoids? Oh, I want to do behind the neck because it's going to do my rear shoulders. Absolute nonsense. Every press is actually engaging mainly front shoulders, but the best way to engage front shoulders is to push the bar in front of your neck, not behind. Also, the trajectory by going down all the way is much longer, meaning better, because you will achieve that full stretch under resistance, which is the key for every exercise because of mechanical tension, which is optimized in that position. So with the bar behind the neck, you can't even go deep. So always to the front, anywhere. 4 sets, actually, anywhere from 8 to 12 reps is my advice for this exercise. Now, there is another exercise that I always included in my training system for shoulders, and this is upright row. So upright row, according to some of the most experienced trainers like Ion Guru, Vince Gironda, for example, is the best exercise for shoulders. So basically, he preferred pulling rather than pushing for shoulders, because pushing involves a lot of triceps. Now, upright row is an overall exercise which will include your front shoulder, your lateral shoulders as well, lateral deltoid, but as you can see in this video, it will include your trapezius a lot. So I do this mainly for trapezius muscles. I always did it, I felt it, it worked for me. As you can see, I managed to develop big trapezius muscle. And I rarely do shrugs, dumbbell shrugs or barbell shrugs, which are also very good exercise for your top trapezius section. But I always prefer this exercise because it gave me, according to my constitution, probably, it gave me a lot of, as you can see, a lot of stretching on the muscle and also a full contraction at the top. And also I benefited from this by engaging my lateral deltoids up to the point. Now, if you hold the bar wider, you will benefit your lateral delts. So, as I said, there is never enough of your lateral deltoid development. So, although I start with lateral raises, I would still pay a bit more attention to my lateral deltoids by performing this exercise. You can see in this clip that I am holding the bar slightly wider than in the previous clips. So you can vary this. You can sometimes do wider to hit more your laterals, more than your trapezius. But if you go for the close grip, you will obviously stretch more your trapezius at the bottom position, causing more mechanical tension on your top trapezius. So you have choices here. You can do this exercise also with dumbbells. You can do it with a bar attached to the cable. But my favorite was and still is upright row with a barbell. I advise my clients to do this exercise on a regular basis. But what is most important is to pay attention to your elbows. So don't drag the bar above your elbows. Elbows have to be always slightly above the bar, because again, all this shoulder unit, especially your trapezius muscles, they are not concerned. They don't know where the bar is. They are actually only engaged by moving your humerus, your elbows up, as you can see on this clip. So that trajectory from the bottom position, where the elbows are all the way down, to the top position are actually optimal mechanical motion for this exercise. 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps is all that you need to do. Now the last exercise in my training, shoulder training program was always bent over dumbbell raises. So this exercise can be performed with dumbbells, as you see on this picture, but also it can be performed with special machines, which actually give you more tension throughout the motion. So they may benefit you more. But I would advise you to actually do the combination of these, to alternate them. One session, maybe you do dumbbell lateral raises. You can perform them either in this position, bending down, almost in standing position. You can also sit down on the edge of the bench and perform this exercise. One way or another, pay attention, like in during lateral raises exercise, pay attention to the movement of your elbows. So elbows, actually humerus are the one that actually they are moved in this position by your rear deltoids. Don't chase the weights, because shoulders, shoulder muscles are small muscles. So especially in the lateral raises or dumbbell lateral raises, which are isolating exercises, the weight is not the primary, is actually the form, is the motion, is the way that you are moving that weight. So always choose the way that you can perform 4 sets from 8 to 12 reps in perfect form, whatever the weight is. Weight will eventually go up over time, but don't just go for optimal weight, for heaviest weight, because everybody else is doing that, but using wrong form. That will not benefit you. So this exercise will help you develop rear delts, and these are very important, especially for developing that overall round look of your shoulders. So lateral and rear delts are essential. So I hope you have got a message that all you need to do are actually 4 exercises. I advise first to start with lateral raises, then do shoulder press, followed by upright row and bent over lateral raises for rear delt. So 4 exercises, 4 sets each, 8 to 12 reps with 16 exercises in order to get your shoulders optimally developed. Now, I just want to mention that for those of you who are interested more in detail about training systems and training routines, I would wholeheartedly suggest you to go to my website, which is nashfittraining.com, on which you will find 7 ebooks that I have written for you. For example, weight training, it's almost 500 pages book in which I explain everything in detail about every single exercise. I talk about most effective training systems, training techniques. I talk about anatomy, I talk about physiology. I even devoted 50 pages of this book to nutrition. So if you're really interested in more detailed, deeper analysis of weight training, why weight training, how much you can expect to gain, how to gain lean muscle tissue, how not to get fat, please go to my website, and this is where you can find this book. Now, for those of you who are more interested in competitive bodybuilding, or those of you who are more serious about bodybuilding, that see it more than just getting in good shape, there is a more advanced book on the subject of training, which is called Build Muscle, Burn Fat. And I explain again more advanced training techniques and training systems, and also different dietary approaches. And I also explain why you don't need cardio necessarily in order to get in great shape. So if you're more serious, this is the book for you. I've also written the books on nutrition, like, for example, The Ultimate Nutrition, in which I explain our generic evolutionary adaptation to the circumstances, to the environment, and how we have developed, what type of food was staple food, actually has been staple food for humans until some 7,000-8,000 years ago. And I talk about macronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, I talk about fat, in the optimal ratio between these main macronutrients. I also talk about micronutrients like minerals and vitamins, why are they important, which ones they are, how to take them, how much, different types of diet. So all this you will find in the Ultimate Nutrition. There is another book which is directly related to those ones who want to compete, who want to really get to the extreme conditioning. And this is the book called Feed the Muscle, Not the Fat. I'm arguing there that in this book that you don't need to get fat during the off season. So I'm trying to debunk that myth about bulking. A lot of people like that because it's nice. You can eat as much as you want, especially if you're spoiled, and then find all the excuses why you're doing this, even some scientific defense of getting fat in those season. But no, I don't agree with that. So as you can see, feed the muscle, not the fat, and you can stay in shape year round. For the ones who have problem with body fat, people who are overweight or eventually obese, either men or women, I wrote the book Fat Loss, in which I explain how do we get fat and also why do we get fat. So I explain psychological reasons for getting fat and also physiological reasons how do we get fat. Once that is understood, it is much easier to understand the strategies that I offer in this book, how to get rid of body fat, how to allow fatty acids to leave fat cells. So thank you very much for tuning in, and you can also support this channel by becoming the member of our members page. Join the members page, in which I will offer you a lot of perks that you will benefit from. And thank you again for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.